Yo YouTube, this is my video for Thursday the 7th of May, and I have got myself a job and I did go cheap, and I should tell you all about that now. I'm on my way to it now. So I woke up and my machine finished at around about 7:30, quarter to 8. So I started looking at jobs on the CX, and there was like a trickle of jobs just before 8 o'clock. It's sort of one job come up, then I'd look at it, and then one more job would come up. And I thought that's a bit weird, but maybe it's just before 8 o'clock. And then at 8 o'clock, it did seem to get a bit quicker, so 2 or 3 jobs came up at a time, which I thought was more useful. And most of the jobs were about 45 minutes to an hour from me, that were kind of Birmingham based. Basically because of the traffic at that time of the day. And I was prepared to go sort of up to about probably half an hour is my ideal. Maybe 40, I'd say 45 minutes at a maximum if it was really 45 minutes rather than just what the CX says. So I was looking for jobs and I wasn't quite getting that many close to me. There's one in Kidderminster that I missed out on, which was very close. A couple in Redditch, which is close, about that, within half an hour or so. And also I was trying to avoid going to the south of the country, and like sort of Oxfordshire and the south. I was trying to avoid going to London, so I get to Peterborough, which I did bid on actually, but I didn't get. But basically the story is most of these jobs were all Birmingham, Walsall, Wolverhampton based, and so they were within my area. I would have done them, but they were kind of a combination of quite far away, sort of 45 minutes plus, and going in kind of the wrong direction. And then there's a few that were local that again would take me about 45 minutes to get to, and that would have been like a 20-mile journey or less. So bidding on it would be difficult. And then the first really good job that came up was going from Bromsgrove, which is like just over 15 minutes away from where I live, going to Bingley, sort of near Leeds. And I looked at it, it's 144 miles loaded, and I was really close to the pickup, sort of within sort of at most 20 minutes by the time I sort of got myself out of the house. And I thought I need to get out of this house quickly. I need to win that job. What price would make sure I'd win that job? That's how I was thinking about it. And my secondary thought was, if I get to the north of the country, then I could try and get across to Manchester and then see my daughter tonight, which is my kind of plan. So this seemed to be like an ideal job for me to get started, and enough distance to get a decent amount of money in first thing in the day. So I went for £110, which is equivalent to 75p per loaded mile, and it's for a I think it's a short wheelbase van job. Let's double check that. Yeah, short wheelbase van. So I thought that's gotta win that job. I think 80p a mile would have probably won it as well, but I just didn't want to take the chance. So the context of my bid was that I'd been looking for work this morning for about half an hour, and there wasn't a lot of ideal jobs, and I wanted to try and get myself across to the north of the country. So that's why I went cheap on this job. The next thing I wanted to talk about was I've realised as I've done this work over a period of time that I don't really differentiate at all between a job that's defined as a car job on CX, or a small van job, or even a short wheelbase van job. As far as I'm concerned, all of those will get into my van without any issues. All of those require the same amount of effort and fuel and costs. And the only variable, but this is the same for any job, is how much effort will the job end up causing me. And that could be, I could have a really easy job that's a long wheelbase van job, or a really awkward job that's a car job. It's really not related to the size of the van at all. It's related to the communication I get, and whether there's a lot of walking or steps or heaviness to the load. So yeah, I just don't see there, for me, being any difference in those van sizes, and so I don't get really. I don't worry about differential pricing on those sort of size vans. And today's an example where I basically priced it as a small van job and felt comfortable doing that. And because for me it's the same. It's exactly the same. And I've ended up picking it up now, and I've got a small. I suppose I call it a crate, but it might just be a Euro pallet. It might even be smaller than a Euro pallet. I'm not sure if you can get pallets that smaller than that. It could be a half pallet maybe, but it's one crate on a pallet, and it's fitting my van so easily. They've forklifted it on, I've strapped it down, and I'm on my way now. So for me, this would have fitted on a small van so easily. It's not got any height to it. So the fact that it's classified as a short wheelbase van job on CX is kind of irrelevant, and it's not accurate. So I think I'm quite glad I priced it the way I did now, because it's just not only do I not see the difference between a small van and a short wheelbase, this load is not really a short wheelbase van load. So I think for someone like myself who's just trying to survive, I think not worrying too much about differentiating price wise between a short wheelbase and a small van might be the way that I need to go. I would usually go for £1 a mile for short wheelbase and 80p a mile for small van as being kind of my kind of standard pricing. But I quite rarely win short wheelbase work at that price. So maybe I should be doing, well, I'm going to try doing pricing short wheelbase work at small van prices and just see whether that gets me any more work. Because to me, it's completely irrelevant. Right, I've picked up my load now from Bromsgrove. I'm on my way to Bingley. There's quite a bit of traffic problems today along both routes up north. It's going to take me at least 3 hours to do 150 miles. And so I should be offloaded, I'm going to guess, about 12:30 today, which gives me a chance to do a job from the Leeds area to Manchester area, and then a local job in Manchester, and that'll be my day. And I'll try and stay up there for the evening. So I did ring the shipper to let him know my ETA, and he was really helpful, really friendly. He said that when you get to the security gate, tell them that you're from these couriers, and they'll let you straight through because they know the drivers that come on. This is a regular sort of job, which makes me think that actually, if this is a regular job, hopefully it's regular from this area, I would do it again. I'd make it a bit more money, but I'd definitely do this again. It was such an easy pick up. And yeah, so I'll look out for that. I might talk to him actually. When I finish the job, I'll talk to him and say, is it regular? That's what I should do really, shouldn't I? Okay, I've dropped off my load about half an hour ago in Bingley, and the guys who were really friendly, and that's always nice when you get friendly people we work with. And then I spoke to the shipper and said that I'd delivered, and asked them if they do any other work similar, and they said that they do have work, and that they've put me as a good driver on their good driver list, not their naughty driver list. So I'm on a good driver list. Apparently I was put straight on it. I'm not surprised, to be honest. I am a very good driver. Anyway, so there's a contact there I've made, and then I looked for jobs, and a job came up quite soon after that, going from Bradford, which is about 25 minutes away, about sort of 9 miles, going to Oldham, small van job, about 30 miles loaded, with the company that I worked with before, who I know pay early. So I put a bid on that job of £40, sent them a message saying I put a bid on. Then I put a bid on a job with the same company I worked for this morning, going from I think it was Bradford back to Bingley, or Bingley to Bradford, so that's quite local. Again, £40 bid on that one. And then I put a £100 bid on a job going from Leeds, which is 45 minutes away, going to Walsall, which isn't perfect, but the money is nice. And that was sort of a long wheelbase van job, and it was 105 miles loaded, so a bit less than £1 a mile. I was 45 minutes away from it, so maybe that's why I didn't get that job. That was sold pretty quickly. But the job I did get was the one that I probably ideally wanted, to be honest. It's the Bradford to Oldham job. It gets me to the Manchester area in good time. I'll get paid this job quickly. It's only £40, but it gives me a chance to do a third job of the day when I'm in Oldham, in that area. So I'm on my way to the pickup point now. My only concern about this job is I'm picking up from a distribution centre, and I don't actually have any reference number. So I suspect I might need to just check with the shipper before I start asking for goods what the number will be, because there's no way they're going to release goods to me without some sort of reference about the job I'm doing. But I'll send a text or a message at least on the way to check if there's any other information I need to have. So my day is panning out okay. I mean, interestingly, I'm doing the work. I'm rolling. I'm moving. I'm earning money. I'll be on 150 after this job, and I'll be in Oldham, I'm going to guess, around about 3 o'clock-ish. I mean, it is a 2 o'clock pickup. I'm going to be a bit earlier than that, so I might not get off site till about, what, half past two maybe? So maybe it'll be 3:30 finish. So, but then I have to get a third job to make the day work. It's always that last job of the day. I always find my day depends on that last job. Do I get it, and how much for? So today I've got a pretty good chance of getting a third job. Just a question of what kind of job will that be. So yeah, I'll let you know. So, cheers. Okay, I've just been to a tyre place. There's a scooter going across the red light. Just been to a tyre place in Oldham, and they very kindly put my spare tyre onto my wheel. So I have a nice fresh tyre on my passenger side front. It's interesting because, technically speaking, my tyre is legal now, obviously, because it's new, and it was legal before I changed it. But I was a lot closer to being illegal before than now. So although I had a legal tyre, it was 1.7 mils. I was only a tenth of a mil off it becoming pretty much illegal. And so I just was driving around the last few days thinking, I'll get this changed, got to get this changed. Despite it still being just about legal. Anyway, it's a lot more relieving now that it's done. And I've got, back tyres don't wear down at all, they're really good condition still. The next one to think about would be my driver side front tyre, but at the moment it's about, I think it's 2.5 mil, 3.5 maybe, but that's about 3.5 mil at the moment. So it could do with being changed reasonably soon, but there's no rush on that one. So I have finished with the tyre place. I'm driving from Oldham to Manchester to be completely accurate, Salford, and then I'm going to be meeting my daughter and her boyfriend, and we're going to be doing some football watching, and I'm going to pop to the only supermarket that I know I can get into with my van, which is Asda Hume. So I'm going to go there now, get some snacks, and then pop over and meet them up, meet up with them. So this will be my last video. I will get home tonight quite late, but I don't want to bid on stuff for tomorrow morning, just in case I don't get on to my dialysis machine until it's in the early hours of the morning, because I really can't just stop that and disconnect before it's finished. It's 9 hours, so I can't take the risk that I've got a booking and I'm sort of still hooked up to the machine. So I'm not going to look for a job for tonight. I'm going to relax now and I'm going to look for a job in the morning. It'll be a Friday, so I should be okay. I feel pretty confident I'll get a decent job in the morning at some point, because there's plenty of work available in the south of Birmingham in the morning. Particularly on a Friday, I think it'll be pretty easy to get something decent. So I'll bring this video to a close. I know that I've earned £150 gross, which won't be very much net. I'm going to guess, let's say £100 net after I've taken out fuel. I won't know until I get back home tomorrow what my fuel costs are going to be for this whole trip. So I'm going to not put the stats on until I've finished tomorrow. So I'll put those over this video, as I have been doing recently. And then tomorrow will be another hopefully full day on the road, and I'll try and get more than I did last week. I don't think I'm going to beat my average from last week, but I'm going to try at least beat Friday's performance. So I hope that you are all being successful, however you choose to define that word. I'll be back on the road tomorrow at some point. Farewell, friends.